All right, Niner faithful, and everyone else who lives and breathes the NFL draft. Are you ready to have your mind bent just a little? Because we're about to talk about the 2026 draft. Yes, you heard that right, 2 years away. While the rest of us are still trying to figure out who's going to make the 53-man roster this season, the scouting world is already deep into evaluating the college stars who could be future pros. It feels absolutely bonkers to look this far ahead, doesn't it? Like trying to predict the weather on Mars. But for NFL front offices, the work is never done, and identifying potential talent years in advance is part of the game. So, when a respected draft analyst drops an early look at the 2026 class, you have to pay attention. And this initial projection for the San Francisco 49ers, well, it addresses a key position, but it also highlights a potential long-term headache for the team. Are the Niners really going to prioritize the secondary over a glaring need on the offensive line 2 years from now? Let's dive into this fascinating, albeit super early, look at the future. Ryan Wilson over at CBS Sports is one of those guys who is always ahead of the curve when it comes to the draft. He recently unveiled his initial mock draft for the 2026 NFL class. Now, to be fair, Wilson himself is very clear about what this exercise is at this stage. He calls it more of a college football watch list than a concrete prediction of where players will land. It's about identifying the top 33 prospects he believes have a real shot at being first-rounders based on their current college performance and potential. As he explained, he took a more deliberate approach this offseason to really dig into the tape and get familiar with the potential stars of 2026. His goal is to give us 33 names to get familiar with, about 2.5 months away from college football returning. It's a smart way to frame it. Acknowledge the uncertainty, but still provide valuable insight into the talent pool. To determine the draft order for this early mock, Wilson used projected Super Bowl odds for the upcoming season. It's a standard practice for these way too early projections, giving a theoretical order based on perceived team strength. And according to this methodology, where do the San Francisco 49ers slot in for the 2026 draft? Ryan Wilson projects the Niners to have the 22nd overall pick. Okay, pick number 22. What does that tell us? Well, if the 49ers are picking 22nd in 2026, it suggests they had a pretty successful 2025 season. A pick in the later half of the first round usually indicates a playoff team, perhaps even one that made a deep run but fell short of the Super Bowl. So, that part of the projection at least aligns with the expectations for a team that just made it to the Super Bowl and has a talented core. Now, for the juicy part. With that 22nd overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, Ryan Wilson projects the San Francisco 49ers to select cornerback Jermod McCoy from the University of Tennessee. Jermod McCoy, write that name down. At 6 feet 3 inches and 183 pounds, he's got the size and length that NFL teams are increasingly looking for on the outside. Wilson is high on his physical tools, describing him as a physically gifted cornerback. He notes that McCoy is versatile, capable of thriving in both man-to-man and zone coverage schemes. That kind of flexibility is gold in the NFL. Wilson specifically praises his ability to consistently stay in phase on vertical routes, which means he has the speed and technique to run stride for stride with receivers downfield, preventing those backbreaking deep passes. He's also not afraid to mix it up in the run game, reportedly coming downhill with determination, looking to strike through someone. And get this, Wilson even suggests McCoy might be the best defensive back in the class against comeback routes. That's a specific, difficult route to defend, requiring precise footwork and timing. So that's high praise indeed. So, why would the 49ers target a cornerback with a first-round pick in 2026? Let's look at the current picture. Pro Football Focus recently projected the 49ers' top 3 cornerbacks for the upcoming 2025 season to be Deommodore Lenoir, Renardo Green, and Trey Brown. That's a solid trio with a mix of experience and youth. Lenoir has proven to be a reliable starter, Green showed real promise as a rookie, and Brown brings speed and playmaking ability. However, in today's pass-heavy NFL, you can never have too many good cornerbacks. The position is physically demanding, injuries are common, and having a deep rotation of talented corners is crucial for sustaining success over a long season and into the playoffs. Adding a physically gifted rookie like Jermod McCoy to that group in 2026 would create intense competition, provide excellent depth, and potentially give the team a future cornerstone at the position as Lenore and Brown potentially approach free agency or the later stages of their careers. From that perspective, using a first-round pick on a talented corner, even if the current group is decent, makes a lot of sense for long-term roster building. And this is but there's another position group on the 49ers roster that many fans and analysts believe is a more significant long-term concern: the offensive line. The offensive line has been a revolving door at times and a consistent point of discussion for the 49ers over the past few seasons. While they've had moments of dominance, particularly in the run game, pass protection has been inconsistent, and there have been questions about the long-term stability and talent level across the unit, particularly at certain positions. The 49ers didn't make massive, splashy moves to completely rebuild the offensive line during the 2025 offseason, either through the draft or free agency. They made some additions, yes, and they clearly have confidence in the players they currently have, but the performance of the offensive line in the upcoming 2025 season could be the single biggest factor in determining their draft priorities for 2026. If the unit struggles to protect the quarterback, if the running game isn't as dominant as it needs to be because of issues up front, then addressing the offensive line with a premium pick in 2026 might become an undeniable top-of-the-board priority, regardless of how talented a cornerback like Jermod McCoy might be. A struggling offensive line can completely derail a Super Bowl contender. It puts immense pressure on the quarterback, limits the effectiveness of the running backs, and makes the entire offense less predictable and explosive. So, while adding a potential star corner is exciting, the foundational importance of the offensive line cannot be overstated. If the OL performance in 2025 doesn't meet expectations, you can bet that general managers and scouts will be spending a lot more time looking at offensive tackles and interior linemen at the top of their 2026 draft boards. Let's circle back to Jermod McCoy and his college production. He transferred to Tennessee after starting his career at Oregon State, and he immediately made his presence felt in the SEC in 2024. According to Sports Reference, in 13 games, he recorded 44 total tackles, snagged 4 interceptions, that's a nose for the ball, broke up 9 passes, and had 1 tackle for loss. For interceptions and 9 pass breakups in a single season are impressive numbers for a college cornerback, especially in a conference like the SEC. It shows he has the instincts, ball skills, and athleticism to make plays on the ball. His size, combined with that production, makes him a very intriguing prospect to watch as the 2025 college season kicks off. He's absolutely a name that could be climbing draft boards over the next year. So, what's the takeaway from this super early 2026 mock draft? It tells us that Jermod McCoy is a legitimate high-level cornerback prospect who is firmly on the NFL's radar. It suggests that the 49ers, even with their current cornerback group, are seen as a team that could look to add talent at that position in the future. But it also serves as a crucial reminder that draft needs are fluid and dependent on future performance. While a cornerback pick at 22 in 2026 is plausible based on adding talent and depth, the performance of the offensive line in 2025 could dramatically shift the team's priorities and make OL the undeniable top target. It's a fascinating glimpse into the long-term thinking of NFL teams and the complex balancing act of roster construction. Will Jermod McCoy be a Niner in 2026? It's way too early to say for sure, but he's a name to know. And this mock draft highlights the key positional debates the 49ers front office will be having over the next 2 years. All right, everyone, what do you think? Is Jermod McCoy the kind of player the 49ers should be targeting in the first round in 2026? Or are you pounding the table for them to prioritize the offensive line no matter what? Let me hear your takes, your predictions, and your biggest concerns for the 49ers' long-term roster in the comment section below. Let's get this conversation going. And hey, if you found this early look at the future interesting and want more deep dives like this, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button. It seriously helps us out and lets us know you're enjoying the content. Don't miss our next report. Make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on. We'll keep you covered on everything 49ers and NFL draft related.